Hello there. This is a description of how to fill out your LinkedIn personal profile. I call it Link Up with LinkedIn. In the few minutes that we're together, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get your LinkedIn profile filled out, looking good, looking professional, and representing you as it should. I'm Susan Schauer John. I own Spiderweb Connections, and we do social media marketing. Why LinkedIn? You'll see it as we go through the statistics, but if you're in business, for heaven's sakes, you need to be on LinkedIn and you need to have your profile filled out. It has a ready-made professional audience, over 175 million users. And those are all business owners. Those are managers. Those are senior management, all of which, is where you want to be if you have something to sell, whether it's a B2B or B2C. 2 new members every second. U.S. membership is more than 74 million. It's better than Facebook. Let's look at the last one here. It's better than Facebook or Twitter for a business, to a business exchange. Just above that, you see the average user has a household income of over $100,000. These are the kind of people we want to reach. Here's an infographic that says the same thing. You'll see the fastest growing countries are Turkey, Colombia, Indonesia. That's right after the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and India. And down here at the bottom, the largest industries. Information technology and services is the largest. Financial services on LinkedIn comes in second. Then higher education, then computer software, and telecommunications. What surprised me was the financial services sector. They are all over LinkedIn, so it tells you a great deal about where the money is. Here's another way to look at it. This is age distribution. I find this a helpful graphic. If I am, for example, selling a product to 9 to 12-year-olds, then I'm going to want to look at that dark blue section. If I'm looking at the dark blue section, then my social media is going to be deviant art. I'm going to want to be in deviant art or hacker news. That's where I want to be spending my time. But if I am working with the 35 to 65 age range, so let's just look at the green and the yellow here, the dark green and the yellow. Look at the bottom, that huge range. That age group, that 35 to 65, is on LinkedIn. So that means you've got to be on LinkedIn. Here's just a snapshot of my desktop. This is a snapshot of my LinkedIn profile. You want to set up your personal profile page. Once you go ahead and log in, it's going to prompt you on each of the things that we're going to discuss. Number 1, in order to have a strong profile, you need a good photo. Not what I would recommend, much more what I would recommend. This works actually very well if this were a cookbook author, for example. I would think that this would be a fantastic photograph for him. Yeah, for me, for social media, I want something that looks a little more casual, just shows me at my desk, a little more, day to day. It depends what you do. Let me give you another example. Here's my nephew, who's in the insurance business. He has a professional photo that clearly the office has had made for him. It fits what he does. So when you think about your profile and think about your photo, number 1, remember visual matters. Number 2, think about your audience and consider what kind of photo they expect and are comfortable with in terms of interacting with you on a business level. So think about it carefully, get that photo taken, and get it online. Then complete the profile. I can't tell you how important it is to complete your profile. It's easy to do. We're going to go through it, but do it. Take the time and do it. It doesn't have to all be done in one sitting. You can do some now, you can do some later, but do it. because the last thing you want is for someone to have taken the time to look you up on LinkedIn, get there, and then find out that you have a skimpy profile. It says a number of things, all of which are negative. I don't follow through. I started this, I didn't finish. You don't want that to represent you. Instead, you want to show not only that you thought about them, trying to reach out to you, by giving them absolutely everything that you could give them on your LinkedIn page. Every piece of information, and all written very enthusiastically. Represent yourself well and completely. Show that you know how to do the job. Use colorful language. Next step. This is the easy part. Click the button that says Improve Your Profile. You'll see it here. And the LinkedIn people have made it fantastic because they just prompt you with questions in order to help you fill that profile out completely. So just follow the prompts. Here's an example of a prompt. Where else did you attend school? So even though I've filled out my profile completely, that is 100%, and they'll tell you, by the way, how complete your profile is, even at that, they still have more questions for me. I could never completely fill out all the details of my life as far as LinkedIn is concerned. But they did tell me I've reached the 100% level, which means maybe I don't need to tell them where I went to grade school. But they're kind enough to ask. So follow those prompts. If it's a question like this and it doesn't apply to you or isn't relevant to your profile, you just click skip. Go on to the next one, but fill out all the relevant information. And then some of you may find this slide difficult to look at. Basically, understand this. You can ask for recommendations. People will give you recommendations, and you can ask for recommendations. Don't be afraid to ask for recommendations. That's a huge part of what LinkedIn offers. So the people who have done business with you and are happy customers, they're your best connection to the next customer or the next boss. So collect those recommendations, and then don't be afraid to give recommendations that are sincere to those you've worked with. Here's an example of a recommendation. Description of her recommendation. That's an awfully nice thing to do. This is a wonderful, one of many wonderful cartoons by Tom Fishburne. Calls himself the Marketunist. You can find his work online. I love this one because the truth is some people are concerned about connecting with people on LinkedIn. I personally don't understand that. LinkedIn is about linking up. So as LinkedIn gets bigger, maybe eventually one will find that there's someone who's haunting you with too much information. But I personally don't find that to be the case. I find it a very professional group of people. We're all on here for the same reason. There's a lot of respect amongst the members of LinkedIn, and I have never turned down someone who wanted to link up with me. If in future I have someone that I decide I'd rather not be linked to, it's no more difficult than it is on any other social media site to go ahead and block them. So if someone says to you, if you get an email, I'd like to have you join my network on LinkedIn, join their network on LinkedIn. Take a look at them. See who they are. If they look at all interesting or important, a terrific thing to do is to write a little note back and say, hey, thanks for the request. Hope to get to know you better. Whatever it is you want to say, but follow through. If you get there and you find this is, I can't imagine it'd be spam. If you found it was something you didn't want to connect to, just disconnect. But go ahead and get those links going because that's what LinkedIn is about. The next thing you can do to improve your profile, after you've completed your personal page and you've gotten those recommendations and you've got that great photograph and you've put notes about your projects and your past jobs and your current job and you've used colorful language that shows not only do you love what you do, but you're the best in your field. All of that done, then go ahead and start looking at groups. LinkedIn will go ahead and help you by sharing with you groups that they think you might like. You can choose groups as I did, an alma mater or a hobby or business groups. This is a great way to connect with business groups. It's a great way to put your ear on the pulse of what's happening in your industry. I'm sorry, your hand on the pulse, your ear on the volume of what's happening in your industry. Go ahead and do that. If you have a group that meets once a week or once a month, or you'd like to create a group, it's simple as can be. Click create a group and start it on your own. You're going to create a group in a very similar fashion to the way you created your own personal profile. And then update it. I say update your status once a week. Quite honestly, once a week is a minimum. Update it, keep it fresh. It's going to help connect that, to your email, to your website. It's going to get you up in the SEO. It's going to bring up the search engine optimization of who you are and what your business is. And it's also simply going to show people who go to your profile that you are an active person who is available and interested and reading about your industry and sharing information about your industry that you think is interesting or important and that you want to share with them. So update your status and share articles. And then work your contacts. I think that's easy enough. I think it's obvious enough to go ahead and use the information available on LinkedIn to start doing searches on industries or on people, putting them into groups. Find a way to use those contacts to better your business and to increase your reach. It's what LinkedIn is about. LinkedIn is about linking up. So go ahead and work those contacts. And then correspond. You're going to find, as I have, that more and more people are corresponding on LinkedIn as opposed to an email address. I think there are a bunch of reasons for that. One is convenience. Once you're on LinkedIn, you see the photo or a note from a friend on LinkedIn, it's easy to respond right there. The other thing that I think is particularly likable about sending messages on LinkedIn is that you're sending a message to the photo. So you are looking right at the photo of the person to whom you are sending the message. And I think that is more natural than sending it to an email address. So I think we're going to find that correspondence happens a good deal more on LinkedIn than elsewhere. The nice thing about it is if someone writes to you on LinkedIn, sends you an email, it's going to go to your whatever email you registered with LinkedIn. You're going to get a note that someone on LinkedIn has sent you a message. So you don't have to go to LinkedIn to see it. It's going to come into your inbox. But it's going to be on LinkedIn and you can respond on LinkedIn. Try it out. You'll see what I mean. I think you'll find that it's a nice way to correspond. Another thing that LinkedIn does that I think is really interesting is if you have signed up for groups and asked to get information about that group sent to your inbox, your email, on a daily basis, and then LinkedIn finds that you have not been participating, they actually send you a note. This is a note they sent to my Gmail saying, gee, we see that you haven't visited this group for a while, and we're wondering if you would rather not get this information in your inbox on a daily basis. So we're going to cut back so that it doesn't fill your inbox with too much information. If you'd like that to be the case, then it's already happened. If you don't, go ahead and go on LinkedIn and change your settings. But what I like is they're actually thinking about not having your inbox too full. And so if you're not utilizing it, it will pick up on that and offer to you that you get the information sent to your email a little less often. To close this up, remember what LinkedIn is about. It's about linking up. And here's another great cartoonist, Rob Cottingham. Had to share this one with you as well. So thank you. These are the references that I used to put this presentation together. All of them are terrific books, blogs, authors, and cartoonists. All of them I recommend. Thank you very much. I'm Susan Schauer John. If you've appreciated this or in any way have a comment, by golly, it's a criticism, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'll look for you there. Thanks so much.